Fasting doesn't have to feel like starvation. And this is the easiest fast I've ever seen melt visceral fat in just a few days. If the idea of going without food for 24 hours scares you, don't worry. This one is designed for beginners who want fast results without wrecking their day or feeling awful. I'll show you exactly how long to go, what not to do, and how to supercharge your fast without breaking it. This might be the simplest fat-burning win you will ever try. Now, right before I outline this 14-day easy-to-follow fasting schedule, this is how it works for your visceral fat. Okay, you have two main types of fat on your body right now. You have your subcutaneous body fat, which is not bad. It's not inflammatory. It's the fat around your arms. But it is the visceral fat that we want to target here. That is the fat that wraps around your organs, applies pressure. It's inflammatory. It leads to weight gain, weight loss resistance. And the schedule I'm going to give you here starts to pull fat from your liver, your pancreas, your heart, and it lowers inflammation, which dramatically reduces your risk of disease. You burn fat, you lower inflammation, and you feel good. So here is the 14-day schedule. Follow this closely, and it works like a charm. For the first 3 days, days 1, 2, and 3, you're going to follow a 14-10 intermittent fasting schedule. This is how it works. For 14 hours, your body's going to be in a fasted state where it lowers the hormone insulin, which allows you to tap into body fat, which allows you to complete digestion. Then you have a 10-hour eating window. What this looks like on your schedule is simple. Let's say you eat your first meal of the day at 9 a.m. You will then continue eating throughout the rest of the day. You'll have your lunch, let's say around 1 or 2 p.m., and then you'll have your last meal of the day no later than 7 p.m. So dinner needs to be done by 7 p.m. So your eating window in this scenario was between 9 a.m. and 7 p.m. From 7 p.m., you go to bed that night, you wake up in the morning and wait until 9 a.m. the next morning, you're in a fasted state, no food. You're just gonna have water, coffee, tea, unflavored electrolytes, no food. This is considered a 14-10 schedule, easy peasy. Now, days 4, 5, and 6, you're going to increase the fasting window slightly and follow a 16-8 schedule. 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating. So we added 2 more hours to your fasting window and we subtracted 2 hours from your eating window. So you're simply going to push your breakfast out from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and you'll continue eating from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Or you could move your dinner from 7 p.m. to 5 p.m. and continue eating that morning at 9 a.m. The 2 additional hours here that you have in the fasted state allows you to drop insulin even more, which allows your body to, of course, complete digestion, but also get into this fat burning mode. Now you're primed for days 7 through days 13. This is where you're going to follow an 18-6 intermittent fasting schedule. 18 hours fasting, 6-hour eating. So we've essentially added 2 more hours now to your fasting schedule, and we've subtracted 2 hours from your eating window. An example of what this would look like on your calendar is you're going to eat 2 or 3 meals between 12 p.m. and 6 p.m., and you're going to fast from 6 p.m. to 12 p.m. the next day. 18 hours of fasting. What this is going to do for you and your metabolism is the following. You're going to now activate during this 18-hour fast a process called autophagy. This is a very important process we want you to achieve because autophagy is this cellular cleaning process. The analogy that I give for you to really understand this is your refrigerator. If you open up your refrigerator, what do you see? You see all these groceries inside of your refrigerator with an expiration date. The orange juice, the milk, the produce, every grocery has an expiration date. I want you to imagine if you let all the groceries inside of your refrigerator expire. And instead of throwing them into the trash, you kind of just shove them towards the back of the fridge, buy new fresh groceries and put them in front of the expired groceries and close that refrigerator door, come back the next day, open it up. That's going to be a toxic environment. Disease will manifest in that environment. Well, guess what? Your human body is like this refrigerator. You have cells, mitochondria, proteins that all have expiration dates on them. And if you're not activating autophagy, you're not clearing out the expired junk. You see, autophagy is that process of getting rid of these cells that are not familiar with burning fat, the mitochondria that forgot how to burn fat. Your body starts to repair them. It's kind of like Pac-Man going within your cells, cleaning out the junk, and creating healthier cells, healthier mitochondria that are now primed for fat loss. And you achieve this during that 18-hour fast. Now, this leads us to day 14 here of your protocol, the final day. And this is where you're primed for a 24-hour water fast, where you would essentially just go for one day, the last day, the 14th day here, from breakfast to breakfast or lunch to lunch or dinner to dinner, 24 hours without food. You're just going to have water, sea salt, tea, coffee, no food. By going 24 hours, you're going to lower insulin even more. Your body's going to start to produce ketones. That simply means you're now really starting to pull fat from your organs. You're starting to use those fatty acids for energy, and your brain is now being fueled by these ketones. What's really cool about completing this 24-hour fast is that there's a surge in human growth hormone going without food for 24 hours. Human growth hormone is a very powerful fat-burning hormone, anti-aging hormone, muscle-preserving hormone, and there's about a 2,000% surge increase in human growth hormone after a 24-hour fast in men, and a 1,300% surge in human growth hormone after a 24-hour fast for women. You want to utilize this. You want to take advantage of this. So that 24-hour fast, you're going to be primed to do it after going through the schedule that I just outlined for you. Now, the next question that you might be having, and this is a very important topic of this lesson, is what do you actually eat during the eating window that I just gave you for this fasting schedule? Here's what you want to do. You want to make sure, starting on day one, that you're keeping your total carbohydrates under 100 grams total per day. By lowering your carbs to 100 grams or less per day, you're allowing your body to keep your blood sugar levels low and insulin levels low, because it is carbohydrates that will raise your blood insulin levels way more than protein and fat. So you want to lower your carbs under 100 grams, and you want to replace your calories from carbs with protein, animal-sourced protein, chicken, beef, eggs, and also healthy fats, avocados, coconut oil, olive oil, butter, ghee. That keeps you full and satiated. It keeps your insulin levels stable, your blood sugar levels stable, and it allows you to really take advantage of the fasting schedule I just outlined for you. Keep it simple and stick with single ingredient foods. These are going to be foods that don't require an ingredients list. I'll give you an example of what I mean. If you're going to the grocery store and you're looking at a potato or an avocado or eggs, and you look at the ingredients list, you're going to see what you see right in front of you. Potato, avocado, egg. That's the only ingredient, single ingredient. But if you buy potato chips, for example, this is now a processed version of the potato, there are 15, 20 ingredients which are inflammatory, which create a big glucose and insulin response. So single ingredient food only during your eating window, keeping that 100-gram threshold for carbohydrates. Now, how do you supercharge your fast? These are some things you could add into your fast to get some amazing results, to keep hunger at bay, and to really supercharge your results. I love organic black coffee during a fast, and I would recommend a high quality coffee. Maybe add a tablespoon of like butter or ghee and some sea salt and mix that in your cup of coffee to supercharge your fast. For most people, this does not break a fast. It actually helps you produce ketones. It's anti-inflammatory, and it keeps you full and satiated. Now, if you're not a coffee fan, how dare you? I love my coffee, but some people are not. Then green tea, organic green tea would be great. And I'll drop links for my favorite green tea and coffee in the notes down below. You also want to make sure you stay hydrated during your fast. Regular spring water, sparkling water is fine. Unflavored electrolytes that don't contain sugar or artificial sweeteners are also fine. And you also want to make sure you're getting some light movement during your fast, whether that's a walk or even some burst training. This will accelerate your fat loss results as well. Now, how you break your fast throughout this entire 14-day schedule is really important. You want to break your fast. You want that first meal to be protein and fat. And if you have carbs with that first meal, have it towards the end of the meal. You see, the protein and the fat will slow digestion, and then having the carbs after will ensure there's not a big glucose and insulin response. What does this mean? If you're looking at a meal that has, let's say, eggs, avocado, and a piece of toast. Ideally, we don't want toast, but let's say this is the meal you have to break your fast. You want to consume, in this scenario, the eggs and avocado first, the toast at the end. You'll get a much better response with your glucose and insulin levels doing it this way versus having the bread, the toast, with the eggs and the avocado at the beginning of the meal. You want to avoid carb-heavy meals to break your fast. Bagels, cereal, oatmeal. You don't want to have that as the meal you break your fast with. Now, allow me to address some of the common questions you submitted on this topic. Before I do, I want to let you know about something really cool. I'm hosting a live webinar all about fat loss. Well, I'll lay out my 17 plus years of research working with thousands of people and give it to you in a free training that works better than Ozempic or dieting. No calorie counting required, no deprivation required. It'll be unlike anything you've come across before. It's a brand new masterclass on fat loss. And if you go to meltyourfat.com or scan the QR code on the screen for those watching on YouTube, you could reserve your free spot. It is free, but we do have limited spots available. So hopefully you hear this, see this on time, and register your free spot. I will also drop a link for it down below. It's meltyourfat.com. Now let's get to your questions. Do artificial sweeteners like stevia and monk fruit break the fast? This seems to be different for everyone. For some people, there could be an insulin response, a glucose response. That will break the fast, but for most people, there's not. The only way to know is to test your blood glucose before and after. Now, to make this simple for you, you don't have to do that. If having the monk fruit, the stevia, the xylitol, which are all fine, they're great sugar replacements, if that helps you continue your fast, go for it. But here's what I would avoid. I would avoid the artificial sweeteners during your fast or even during your eating window. Things like sucralose, aspartame, acesulfame, potassium, which is called ACE-K. Those are artificial, can lead to more cravings and lead to you breaking your fast. Don't recommend those. What if I feel dizzy or weak during the first few days? Is that normal? Well, the way I laid this out for you, you shouldn't have any symptoms. But let's say there's always an exception here, and let's say you are the exception. Increasing your sea salt, minerals, and water, high quality water during your fast will get rid of the dizziness or a headache or any other symptoms you might be experiencing. How much water or electrolytes should I drink while fasting? First thing in the morning, you want to consume 16 ounces of high quality water with some sea salt or electrolytes to make sure you start your day hydrated. And then as you go through your day, you want to drink when you're thirsty. Make sure your urine is mostly clear. If you're doing these things, you're going to stay hydrated during the fast. Can I exercise during the fast? If so, what type of exercise is best? For the first few days, I would recommend only walking during a fast, which is great for fat loss. As you get more familiar with fasting, and I call it the fasting muscle, you build it up, then you could throw in burst training, strength training, even sprinting during the fast, and you'll get even more fat loss results doing that. How often can I repeat this 14-day fasting challenge? You could continue to repeat it, but I would recommend you join my fat loss webinar to learn more about advanced strategies for fat loss, and that's going to be over at meltyourfat.com. What should I eat if I get really hungry before my fasting window is over? Here is a fasting hack for you. You could actually, I've done this with a lot of my students, you could grab a tablespoon of coconut oil or take a shot of olive oil during a fast. Although there's calories in it, there's not a glucose and insulin response, so it's not breaking the fast. You'll preserve the benefits, and it usually helps you feel satiated, where it calms hunger. Something else you can do is keep yourself distracted. I want you to understand that hunger is simply a hormone. Ghrelin is the name of the hormone, the hunger hormone. And all hormones are pulsatile. They come up, they go down. So when you experience ghrelin and experience hunger, if you distract yourself, go for a walk, go on a sales call, I don't know, whatever it is, 10, 15 minutes later, the hunger hormone drops, hunger goes away. So distract yourself. That's the best thing you can do if you experience hunger. Will I gain all the fat back once I stop fasting? Depends on how you break the fast, and it depends on what you have during your eating window. That's why I outlined a protocol for you, which is to keep your total carbs under 100 grams per day, eating high quality protein and fat, and especially that first meal you have to break your fast, focusing on protein and fat at the beginning of that first meal. Is it safe to do a 24-hour fast if I've never gone that long without food before? Well, if you just jump right into a 24-hour fast, probably not. But the way I outlined the schedule for you is to build up the fasting muscle, build up metabolic flexibility. So by day 14, you're ready to do that 24-hour fast and actually feel great. Now, if your goal is 24 hours and you stop at 20 hours, that's still a success. I always say there's no such thing as a failed fast. So applaud yourself. There was healing and benefits, and then work your way up to a 24-hour fast, maybe the next day or a few days later. That's the protocol Follow it. It works really well. Share this with somebody you know. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And by the way, I just released a video on something you could drink every day that works better than Ozempic, helps with fat loss, helps with energy. You got to watch this lesson to understand exactly what I'm talking about here. So here's a clip from that lesson. Click the video on the screen. I'll see you in that next lesson. In this lesson, I'll share with you 5 powerful drinks, each backed up by human research that support appetite control, metabolic health, and sustained weight loss. Coffee is naturally thermogenic, meaning your metabolism burns more calories throughout the day, even at rest after you drink a cup of coffee.